Hey, what's going on? It is Jason Eichmiller, the reverse mortgage expert, and I have the pleasure of speaking with, and he's right on the screen, so also seeing, and you guys can see him too, Eric George. He is an awesome attorney in the Philly area, and we worked together helping a wonderful, wonderful lady save her house. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of dissect what led to her kind of having a little bit of trouble, what the trouble was, and how the reverse mortgage helped her. But in a nutshell, if you want to get nothing but this, she was back on her, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but in a nutshell, 10,000 foot view, she was back on her taxes. An investor had gone to purchase the home, and we used a reverse mortgage as well as cooperation from the investor to save her home. Then we paid her property taxes and her homeowner's insurance for her life. So she'll have like no mortgage, no taxes, no insurance to pay. And then she got a little bit of extra money as well.
Right, and also she was in her mid 80s at the time. Now she's probably, I suppose she's about 86 now. And also the reason why the taxes were not paid was because her husband had passed away in January of 2018. And that's why, and this was just something that she never was never responsible for. It was her husband. And so she was going through a bad time, and this was something that needed to be rectified. And the reverse mortgage was really the only solution. We looked at a number of options, but reverse mortgage certainly was the solution that worked.
Yeah, it was awesome to help her. It was really great. And yeah, I found that in the foreclosures that I've kind of stopped, a pretty high percentage of them are widows. And not to say that you can't get foreclosed on if you're husband and wife, because I've dealt with that too, but there is something to absolutely be said for when you have like kind of an old-fashioned family and the husband's keeping the bills and he knows what's up and he's paying what needs to be paid on time. Suddenly he gets sick, suddenly he passes away. Besides like the financial implications, it's tough. She's got to deal with the grief and losing her husband, like the man that she loves. And then she's got to turn around and figure out, oh my God, all right, what bills are due when, and how do I pay them? And how's the bank account set up? And it's just, I mean, do you see that too? That like in a lot of these cases that it's really hard on these people?
Sure, and some things that just get out of hand. With a foreclosure, that's different than this particular situation we worked on, which was a tax sale. A foreclosure is that's when the mortgage wasn't paid.
Yeah.
This case was the taxes. And sometimes it's actually both can occur. But what happens is that it snowballs, and a client was really dealing with other matters that were turned out to be a little bit more important in their mind at the time. Communication was not made with the bank or with the tax claim bureau. And because when there's communication, a lot of times these issues can be rectified, put on a payment plan for the taxes. But and if they were on a previous payment plan, they are likely not to get another one. So then at that point, we need to go in front of a judge. Mm-hmm. The judge is more likely than not to give them an opportunity as long as there's a viable option here. In this case, it was the reverse mortgage.
Yeah. How did you get to, I want to go through like what you guys had investigated before you got to the reverse. What else what else did you kind of like, did you brainstorm or try before it came to the reverse mortgage?
The reverse mortgage was really the first and only real possibility. Finding a private investor, we looked into that, but that would not have been optimal. And not only that, it's more problematic. The reverse mortgage was a much better resolution to the problem.
Yeah. That's good. That's good to hear that it was like it was what she wanted to do. And like when working with her, like her big deal, I feel like she didn't care so much how it got done, but I'm sure you've had more interactions with her than me. I've had some like really, really special ones, but she just, every time we spoke, she just conveyed about like how important it was for her to stay in her home. Like, this is my home. I want to be here. Get it done for me.
Right. But also she had plenty of equity in the property. And if without a resolution, she could have lost the whole thing, the whole her whole residential investment. I mean, and now she has an option of even selling the property, but prior to that, this was all tied up with the tax sale and with the buyers, and now she's free to live her life the way she'd like to live her life. But if say her health starts to fade, well, there's the option of selling the property now, and then she can utilize that money to find other alternative places to live that might be more feasible based on a health issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just having her, like, she has that flexibility, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if I had told you, like when Alyssa, my eldest daughter, she's 10 now, when she was 3 weeks old, I got hit by a bike, or I was riding my bike, I got hit by a car and bounced my head on the pavement. And of course I was one of those geniuses who wasn't wearing a helmet. Very good job. But I mean, I made it. I was in the ICU for a little bit. I made it out, but it very well could have been not making out. So you never, I guess that tangent is like, you never know what's going on. And with her health, you don't know what's going on. But just the fact that if she needs to leave the house, hopefully she lives there for the rest of her life. It's like, that's really what she wants to do. But if she can't, and if she has to leave it, at least she'll be able to sell it. And she's got a lot of equity there to kind of to pick up and use for her care, or for like if she needs to move into a facility or like a private facility or something like that. So I like how open it is.
Well, and also she'll have access to more money down the road through the reverse mortgage, which may help her stay in the home by providing means for in-home health care. So there are other options, other things which are now options which were not before.
Yeah, we love, like, I do a lot of, I actually recorded, I recorded a kind of an educational video earlier today about using a reverse mortgage for home health care. I talked about one of my clients, Judy. So that is when you can use your house, whether it's healthcare, whether it's investing, like whatever you need to do, if you can use your house to do it and unlock a couple dollars, like I always think like you get this magic hammer and you hit it on the bricks and you turn the bricks into $1 or $100 bills. When you can do that, it's really a blessing, and it's kind of like having your cake and eating it too, because you get the money and you don't have to make a mortgage payment too. So that's why I'm so bullish about these things.
Right.
So
And
tell
also,
me, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I agree.
Awesome. So tell me, who would be Tell me how clients get to you, Eric, because you handle a lot of tax sales, you handle a lot of a debt relief. Like, what are the types of clients that you can help?
Well, first of all, a client who was, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cough, but a client who would certainly wish to cooperate.
Yes.
Cooperation is key here. If they're not willing to help themselves, then I can't really help them. They need to to really get to
You're the
know what
boss.
the options are. Right. If they don't listen, then I can't help them.
Well, you're the professional, man. So like both of us, people always ask me, like when I start the reverse mortgage process, like how long will it take? I'm like, well, it depends on if you do what I tell you to do or not. If you do what I tell you to do, it'll be pretty short. If you don't listen, then I don't know, might not even
Right.
work.
Well, and also a reverse mortgage would be best if it's done prior to a sale.
Yes. Yes.
If that would stop a sale based on the likelihood of the reverse mortgage being approved, and a judge will more than likely allow time to let that process pan out. But in this instance, it was a lot more complicated because the buyers, the two partners, they agreed to do the reverse mortgage so long as the bank would agree or would do some type of pre-approval. And the bank wanted to make sure that they agreed. And we also needed to have the county tax claim bureau agree. And they each wanted the other two to agree first. So that made it more complicated. But it was had to be more of a simultaneous resolution or meeting of the minds. And that was in the form of a stipulation and order, which was all the parties had to be involved with.
Yeah. Don't forget title also. I went through 3 title companies trying to find one that would actually insure the deal. I don't know if I shared that with you or not, but the first 2 didn't, and then your connection, they did a fantastic job. So it's almost like sometimes if somebody says no, you don't take it. You just bash your head through the wall as much as you possibly can, and then you get a little bit of a headache, but in the end, most of the time it works out.
Well, that's the problem, is if you're dealing with someone who is unwilling to focus on a resolution. The mortgage company or even the title company said, "Oh, this can't be done."
Mm-hmm.
Well, then don't waste time with them.
Yep.
Because they can't be, they need to understand and actually absorb the plan and understand what the plan can mean to all the parties. It was a resolution for everybody. The tax claim bureau they were paid every penny that they were owed. The buyers received their settlement, and the client remained in the home. But they all, communication was probably the hardest component to this whole problem, because having all parties understand how this could work was not exactly easy.
There were a lot of moving parts.
Right.
Everybody wanted something different. Our client, though, she was good. She said, "Hey, whatever you guys got." She was the easiest of them all because, like you said, she listened, and when you engage somebody, you hopefully have faith in the fact that they can do a good job for you. So if you have faith and you hire somebody, then they're trying to help you. Do what they tell you to do. It's probably
Right.
a good thing.
And don't try to tell the people who are trying to help you that this can't be done.
Like, okay, maybe I need to hire you. Maybe you can do it instead. One thing I want to add here too, you alluded to it, and I'm gonna kind of stomp down on it. So if you're watching it, if you're a senior who's kind of back on things, or you're kind of a service provider, or you're a family member, the best advice that I can give you is don't wait. If I say it harsher, it would be don't procrastinate. But things, when you have something like this, although psychologically I understand it's hard to face it. You have to stand up and you have to like look at yourself in the mirror, and you have to own up to whatever's happened. You have to say, okay, it's here, it happened, whatever, who cares? What can I do to fix it? Because the problem if you procrastinate, and I see it happen all the time, I'm not going to do this till I'm desperate. Like, do you really want to do this when the sheriff's knocking on your door? It's not, you think you're stressed now, you think you got a weight on your shoulders now, like you need to address things. You don't want to wait to the very end.
No. And also there are other issues involved with like the repair of the home. Part of the reverse mortgage would be to deal with something that, if it's not taken care of, might fester and become a major repair instead of something that could have been handled using part of the financing from the reverse mortgage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but you know what? She did a pretty good job towards the end. She faced everything, and I know it was scary. And it was humbling too. I mean, like when you're in this situation, I understand there's like feelings of, you might be ashamed. You might think like, oh man, like I don't want to share this with people. I'm embarrassed. We don't care about anything like that. We just want to help you. We just want to save your house. So
right. And also to have like the repair people come in and give a quote. It's nice to know what kind of a budget you have in order to just know what kind of resources you have to work with.
Yep.
And because a contractor, they want to know how they're going to get paid. And
everybody.
So exactly. So you end up with a contractor will say, well, how am I going to get paid? Well, as soon as I get this reverse mortgage, when's that going to happen? Well, we're not sure, but then the contractor doesn't take you seriously. It's like delays only make things harder on all fronts to the problem.
Yep. And I think I can add this. If you are proactive and we attack this early in the process, most of the time things shouldn't take, again, as long as you do what we ask you to do, and kind of follow along, things shouldn't take longer than 45 to 60 days. It's when things get complex and if sales happen and you're negotiating with investors and purchasers and that stuff, that's when it drags on. But simple paying off back taxes, paying off foreclosures, paying off debts, that stuff is easily done pretty quickly. So don't worry about a law, as long as now, if the sheriff's knocking at your door, then we're going to have to fight through a couple things and it might take a little bit longer. But we will put our heads down and bust through those bricks to make sure that this happens.
Right. And the first thing is to communicate and have an opportunity to learn what a reverse mortgage can do, how to determine if you qualify in the first place. There's certain age requirements, but also ratios of debt to equity that all these are factored in. But the only way to find out if this is a viable option or it makes sense is to discuss this with someone like yourself who can really give a good understanding of what what's involved, and how the numbers might work out.
Yeah.
And there's no obligation because it may not even be viable. I mean, it could be that we need to find another solution for you.
Half the people that I talk to unfortunately can't do it. It's sad. Like, I feel bad, but you're absolutely right, Eric. There are age constraints, I guess. There's equity constraints. We have to look at what happened. So this isn't kind of like a one size fits all, but I do promise this: anybody that I speak with, I'll be blatantly upfront with, in a friendly way, of course, but get some information, ask you a bunch of questions, probably a couple more questions than you expect, but that's in an effort to dive into the truth, dive into exactly what's going on, what our options are, what our hurdles are. Can we get over these obstacles, or can we not? And if we can't, for example, if you don't have any equity in your house, as much as Eric and I will try to bash our heads through the wall, we're just going to get a headache. That wall is going to be too strong. You do have to have equity. So those are the things that we're going to kind of look at and saying, like, okay, can you do this? If so, great. This is how to look for you. And then we figure out, okay, will this accomplish what you need it to accomplish? Will this get you in your home? Do you want to be in your home? Do you want to just be in somewhere else anyway?
It could be a sale of the home is the best resolution of the problem, and
yep,
it can be that just financially it makes the most sense, but you'll never know unless you talk with someone like yourself, Jason, and just come up with a full understanding of how the numbers could work, and if they don't work, you'll know.
Yeah, and I don't know until I talk to them.
No, they'll know, and then it'll be a very valuable conversation, because sometimes when you're looking at a problem and you're looking at possible solutions, finding out that the one solution is not possible is still valuable, because now you can take that off the consideration list. And then we have to look at other possibilities.
You can focus in on what, because you don't want to waste time and you don't want to waste money. And especially in these sort of circumstances, the clock is important. It's ticking, right? It's ticking in the back of your head. And yes, we can, like, you're an expert at, Eric, at if you need a little bit more time, you can get the court to agree to that. But there is a clock there. So I don't want to waste, like, if I know a reverse doesn't work for you, I'm going to tell you the second that I know it, so that you can go to the next plan B, plan C, whatever it is.
Sure, because you can't, it's not a matter of going in front of a judge and saying, hey, well, we reverse mortgage, if everything works right, we'll solve this problem, because the judge will want to know, are they even qualified? You know, how would this work? I mean, it's not a matter of we're working on the problem and then just so we need to have some kind of concrete basis for being in front of the judge in the first place, to get the time to fully explore, for instance, a reverse mortgage option.
Yeah, and that's easy. Like, normally, I think what we did with Marion and what I try to do with all of these is just, okay, here's an approval. So we'll actually take a look at title. We don't even need to get the appraisal. In most cases, we don't need the appraisal done. If I have documentation, credit, and then title, I know this is getting into the weeds, but this will be valuable for someone. We can use that sort of documentation to go in and actually get a pre-approval from the investor and get a title report, which is basically a pre-approval on title. And then we can put all of that together in a package, present that to the judge and say, like, hey, all right, they've got a lot of equity. Here's a snapshot on where we think the houses are worth. As long as the house is worth this, and we've got plenty of room here, then this is going to go through based on our experience. And
Right, because the tax sale, a tax claim bureau for a county, they're not necessarily, they're not looking to set aside sales easily. They want to see something that's viable, and they also want the they prefer having a judge involved at some point, because then there is an opportunity for the time extensions, but they won't go on forever.
mm-hmm.
I mean, in other words, it's actually everybody's trying to be reasonable about how much time it would take to come up with the proper solution. It's not an open-ended thing where the client would have as much time as they would like.
You're not going to be able to kick the can forever. And some would say that can kicking and procrastination has gotten some folks into tough spots where they've needed to do this. So yes, we operate pretty quick on a timeline to try to get this stuff done as quickly as we possibly can, while being responsible and making sure that we're not overlooking anything.
Because on the alternative, I mean, discussing this with the solicitor for a tax claim bureau would, they may very well would cooperate, so long as we have all of our ducks in order and they have something that's viable for them to consider.
Yep.
They just want their tax money in the end. They don't want to sell the property, but they will sell the property unless, if nothing else, can resolve the matter.
Yeah, it's just like banks. Banks don't want to foreclose. Some people think like, oh, the bank wants to take my house, which is not ever the truth. Well, okay, maybe there's some circumstance where it might be the truth, but for the most 99% of the time, banks and more of tax bureaus, they're not in the business of being realtors. They're going to have to pay commissions, pay more costs, pay their attorneys. They're going to have to, if it sits, they're going to have to continue to pay the property taxes. They're going to have to pay forced place insurance. They're going to have to do repairs as the house, the longer the house sits, the more disrepair it gets. Then you go through seasons like winter. I can go on, just reasons why these people want to just get their money and be out, but they do have to have deadlines too.
Sure. That's pretty much, it's a very viable option for some people, but the only way to really determine it is to have the conversation, and also the willingness of the client to really wish to resolve their problem. If
you don't care, don't call us.
Right, they need to actually want to finally address their issue.
Yeah, because we're going to, again, it's got to be right for you. And if you can say, hey, you know what, I don't want to save my house. I actually just want it. I want to move somewhere else. Okay, cool. Perfect. Look into selling your home, look into other options. But if you do want to stay in your house, then you've got to be, I don't want to like scare you off or anything, but we're going to we're absolutely going to require you to work with us and make sure that, like, obviously everything will be, there won't be any surprises, but we're going to ask you to participate. And that's the only way that we get things done, is we get things done together.
That's true.
We're all in together as a team. Team save the house.
That's right.
Was it the old Under Armour commercial? We must protect this house. That's me as a Baltimore dude, going back to the Ravens from early 2000s. Ray Lewis. We must protect this house. Anyway, tangent. Cool. Anything else? Any other wisdom that we can share?
No, just if you're in a situation where taxes are owed, I would recommend calling Jason to see if reverse mortgage would be right for you. And the conversation would be a very valuable one.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, taxes, foreclosures also. If you're late, if you have any financial distress, then give me a ring. I'll give you my phone number in a second. But then Eric and I will work together to kind of piece things together and make sure and see, like, okay, again, I'll be able to provide the reverse mortgage expertise, but having Eric as a damn good attorney is just so necessary, so necessary, like in this world. So you can give me a ring at should I give him the toll-free number? I'll give you the toll-free number. It's 888-309-9705. Again, 888-309-9705. And if you are local in the Philadelphia area, like a number of the folks that we help together, then you can call just locally at 267-289-1095. Call me however you want. We'll get on the line. We'll learn about your situation, learn about what you need. And if a reverse can help, or if there's something, maybe a reverse doesn't make sense, but there's something else that we can do to help save your house, then we'll bring Eric in. And all of it, like, we both have the same ideals. We're like product agnostic. We don't care what it is that helps you. We just care that you get help and it's the best program out there for you. Does that make sense?
That would be correct, yes.
Cool. All right. So this was fun. Again, just feel free to reach out, and you'll probably see this. You might be seeing this on YouTube or wherever you're seeing it. You'll see my contact information below. Got the phone numbers. Email address is jasoне@reversemortgagereality.com. I know it's a long one, but I'll put that down below or on the side or wherever it is, depending on what you're seeing. And yeah, Eric and I we'd really be elated to help you.